I'm Beth. I'm from Lumberton, New Jersey, and I was diagnosed with bronchiectasis in 1983 at the age of 15. Prior to being diagnosed with bronchiectasis, I suffered frequent lung infections from the time I was a baby, according to my parents. I had a daily productive cough. I missed quite a bit of school because of the lung infections. I noticed that I didn't seem to have the same speed and stamina that the other kids had. I know I was frequently the last kid chosen for a team in gym class. It's definitely not a good feeling. As my symptoms progressed through, through my tweens and then into my teens, my mom insisted that a chest x-ray be taken. And what was found was that the right middle lobe of my lung was partially collapsed. And then there were some other opacities on the x-ray. And so that kicked off a series of testing and, appointments, doctor appointments, to try to determine what was going on. And that took several months. And I was finally given a diagnosis of a congenital condition called primary ciliary dyskinesis. And that is the cilia in my lungs and sinuses are impaired. And so I cannot clear the secretions out of my lungs and sinuses. And as a result, I was diagnosed also with bronchiectasis. After my diagnosis, I felt validated. As a kid and having missed so much school and heard repeatedly that I was faking it or I didn't look sick, I'm 15, I felt validated at that point. Any kind of relief or joy, if you want to call it, quickly subsided when I realized the daily regimen that I was going to be on. And that included, nebulized medications, more like oral medications, and bronchial hygiene. And bronchial hygiene is the combination of percussion and breathing exercises to help you clear the secretions in your lungs. And when, this was in the 80s, and they didn't really have a lot of the devices that they had today, so it was something manual. So I learned how to clap myself. And I remember my mom would help me. She kind of felt like she was pounding on me to help me clear my lungs. And, this regimen was to really help reduce the amount of lung infections. And also the medication really helped with the wheezing and shortness of breath. One of the other things the doctors told me at that time was that this is a degenerative condition, which really didn't resonate to me as a 15-year-old. And really what they're saying is that is a loss of lung functioning over time. And essentially what that means is a diminished quality of life over time. And, I'll start with the productive cough because I hear that, I read that on forums. I hear other people saying that it's one of the worst things about this condition because it's kind of gross. It draws unwanted attention to yourself. People can be, I've had people move away from me on a train, because I have this cough. It's just embarrassing. I don't feel feminine. And, it almost makes you not want to spend time with other people. It's just easier to just be by yourself, and that just becomes very isolating. This condition also, there's a great deal of unpredictability in how you're going to feel at any given day, any given hour. I mean, you could wake up and you could feel pretty good, and then, you know, maybe you go and you do a workout and now you're exhausted, but you still have to get through the rest of the day. You know, there's so many times when my day was get up, work out, come home and go to sleep. And, you know, it makes it very difficult to plan anything in your life because you just don't know how you're going to feel. Then there's the exercise intolerance. You know, when I started taking medications and really getting into the regimen, I did start feeling better, and I was able to started running. And, you know, I kind of felt empowered by being able to run. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily call it running. It was more like a slow jog. But I would work myself up to 3 miles 4 to 5 times a week. And unfortunately, over time, when your pulmonary functioning declines, you don't have that stamina anymore. And so 3 miles became 2, and then became 1. And now I have to, I essentially can only really walk. So, you know, for someone who's been very disciplined and really worked hard, that was definitely a loss. There's been, you know, financial loss. You spend a lot of money and time going to appointments, on, you know, treatments, frequent hospitalizations. You know, that is definitely, you know, I mean, I'm probably average being in the hospital like once every other year my entire life. It's a lot. It's expensive. I'd much rather spend that money on a vacation or, I don't know, a new kitchen. The other thing is the impacts to my career, because it makes it very difficult to focus when you're distracted by not feeling well. And, you know, it wasn't too bad when I was younger, but over time it would get worse and worse. And, you know, I used to be able to take the opportunities to go work at a different location, different office, and do a special assignment. And it was great for your career, you know. But unfortunately, as the decline happened, I don't really have the stamina to deal with the stress of doing, you know, a new job. I also don't even go into the office anymore. My employer gave me a reasonable accommodation, so I am very, very appreciative of that. But, you know, everyone's in the office and I'm home, and it's, you know, it's very isolating, and it's out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, my career has definitely taken a hit. You know, there doesn't seem to be any really upward mobility in my career because of it. So definitely kind of soul crushing there. I will say, yes, there's so many things that you cannot control with this condition. And so I would say to anyone who has bronchiectasis or really any chronic condition is to focus on the things that you can do. And those things can be as simple as exercising every day to the best of your ability, eating right, you know, taking your medication, following your doctor's guidance, choosing hobbies that don't require a lot of stamina. You know, all those things that you can do, you can focus on that. And for me, that is very empowering. That gives me a sense of strength. And, you know, it also is a sense of pride in the face of all this kind of adversity. I feel like I do have some control over my life. To learn more about bronchiectasis and to celebrate World Bronchiectasis Day, please visit www.worldbronchiectasisday.org.